Dust and gunfire filled the Afghan valley like a storm. The platoon was pinned down behind broken walls, their radios screaming with static and panic. Captain Reed pressed his headset tighter, shouting over the roar of rifles. "Command, this is Alpha 3-1, we're cut off. We need air support now." There was a pause on the other end, long enough for a round to chip a stone beside his face. Then, through the crackling comms, came the reply that no one expected: "Calm, steady, female. She's already flying." Reed blinked, confused. "Say again, command." But before the words left his mouth, the sky answered. A distant rumble built into a scream overhead. The men craned their necks, just as a single A-10 Thunderbolt dropped out of the sun. Its twin cannons spat fire, a sound like the ripping of the earth itself. Bullets tore through the ridgeline where insurgents had dug in. "Holy, she's good," one of the soldiers yelled, ducking as shockwaves rolled over them. Reed didn't even breathe. The pilot's passes were perfect, tight, surgical strikes that shredded the enemy position without touching the Americans huddled below. She was moving faster and lower than anyone dared. The radio came alive again. "This is Valkyrie. I've got eyes on your position, Alpha 3-1. Mark your north flank with smoke. We'll keep them off your back." Reed fumbled for the signal grenade, tossed it high. "Copy that, Valkyrie. North flank marked red. Visual confirmed. Hold tight, boys." The sound of her cannon, BRRRRT, cut through everything. Then came the explosions, clean and brutal. When the dust lifted, the valley went silent except for the hum of her engines as she circled back. Reed keyed his mic. "Valkyrie, you just saved our skins. Where the hell did you come from?" "Just out for a morning run," she replied, voice light but edged with exhaustion. The men laughed, shaky, relieved laughter. But Reed's curiosity burned. He'd read the roster, there weren't any female A-10 pilots stationed within 100 miles. "Command, who's Valkyrie?" he asked once the battle quieted. "Check your after-action report, Captain," came the response. "You'll see her record speaks for itself." Hours later, when evac helicopters lifted them out, Reed caught sight of her jet refueling at the forward airstrip. He made his way across the tarmac, limping from shrapnel. The A-10's nose art caught his eye first, a white hawk painted in mid-dive, talons extended. The canopy opened, and out climbed a figure in a flight suit dusted with desert sand. She pulled off her helmet, and a waterfall of brown hair tumbled free. Her eyes were sharp, but her expression calm, like someone used to being in command of chaos. "Captain Reed," she said, offering a gloved hand. "You called for air support." He shook it, still processing. "You must be Valkyrie." "Captain Arya Cole, 303rd Fighter Squadron," she said. "Most folks just stick with Valkyrie. You were already flying." She smirked faintly. "Training exercise. Saw your distress signal. Command authorized engagement before you even finished the call." Reed laughed under his breath, shaking his head. "Ma'am, I owe you a drink, or 10. "Make it coffee," she said. "I don't drink before missions." The crew chief came running, shouting that her bird was refueled. Arya turned, strapped back into her jet, and looked over her shoulder at Reed. "Next time you need help," she said through the cockpit mic, "don't wait to call. I'll probably already be in the air." The engines roared to life again. The men nearby stopped what they were doing just to watch. She taxied to the runway, gave a brief salute, then thundered skyward, disappearing into the orange haze of evening. Later, in the debrief tent, the platoon's medic stared at her flight log. "Sir," he muttered to Reed, "she's flown 12 sorties this week. Solo. Every one successful. They say she saved 3 platoons this month." Reed leaned back, whistling low. "And she's still flying." The medic nodded. "Yeah, that's why they call her Valkyrie." Word spread fast. Her legend moved through the ranks like wind through the desert. Pilots spoke her name with respect. Infantrymen told the story around fires, how she'd come from nowhere when they were cornered, how her voice over the radio had cut through fear like light through smoke. Weeks later, Reed heard her on comms again during another firefight. He smiled before she even finished speaking. "Valkyrie inbound. Hold your position, gentlemen." And from that day on, when anyone requested air support in that sector, command no longer asked who was available. The answer was always the same. "She's already flying."